Hey there, this is Stephanie with the Awakened Business. That was my dog Chili just saying hello as well from outside the door. It means let me in. So I came across this amazing relationship in nature that I want to share with you. So I don't know how much you know about flowers, but flowers typically, the way that they reproduce, the way that they make more flowers and have fruits is by having a blossom. And most of them have nectar that attracts insects like bees and other insects to it. That's a very sweet nectar. And then when the insects come, they have pollen on the outside of their stamen, and it sticks to the insects, and then the insects go to another one of their flower types and pollinate the other plant. And that's how these flowers are fertilized, and then they can create fruit, right? So that's typically what happens with flowers. But the challenge that flowers had, the evolutionary challenge apparently, is that they couldn't predict, there was no way to make sure that that insect that got the pollen on it went to another plant of the same species. So it was all going to waste. So some flowers got smart. Now, I'm not saying they actually got brains, but something happened in this process, right, that was super cool. And some of these flowers developed stamens. They stopped producing nectar, and they had the pollen locked away inside the flower so that most insects could not get to it, with one exception. And these types of flowers, by the way, are common for us. Tomato plants, potatoes, and blueberries all do this. So in order to get to the treasure of that pollen inside the flower, the insect has to do something very specific. And there are only certain insects that can do this. Bees can do this. Honeybees can do this. So they come to the flower, and normally the bee's wings beat and have a certain frequency. But when they get to this particular flower, they change their wing pattern and they hit the note middle C. And when they hit middle C, the stamen opens up and out comes the pollen, which covers the bee, and that's what they were after. So this particular blossom only opens and you can do this with a tuning fork too. You can hit middle C and then the blossom opens. Or that specific bee comes and buzzes its wings at just the right pitch so that the blossom opens up. And I love this picture. I love this as a metaphor because I believe that inside of us, inside of you, there is this blossom. You can call it the sacred lotus blossom in your heart. Right? It's what holds the treasures of what you're meant to bring to this world. It's what holds your genius. But it's kind of locked away. And there's that certain note that unlocks that blossom and releases your genius into the world. And what is that? What is that note? I really don't think it's something. A lot of times people talk about going out there to find their passion or their purpose or their calling. And I think it's all right here. And it's going to be different for everyone, but I think that perfect note that unlocks your genius is found by following your joy, by doing what brings you joy. And it might not look like what people think of as a passion or a calling. It might just be, spending time with your cat. I don't know what it is for you. Maybe it's gardening, but it's whatever brings your heart joy, because I believe that's what you're here to do. Now, for some of us, that is doing work in the world, and that's probably, it might be a part of what you want to do, but it's just that simple. That joy, that note that opens up the blossom of your heart, that's what we're here to do. It's not fancy. It doesn't have to require hard work. And you do get to do that. That's what I take from that metaphor anyway. I'd love to know what you think. Feel free to leave me a comment. And if you want to talk, click the link below. I'd love to meet you.